Okay, I'm going to talk about the attempted murder on my life. I was still a heroin addict. I had been for at least 20 years. A heroin addict, not a drug addict. Geez, a drug addict my whole life. But being a heroin addict, I lived in a loft space in East Boston. It was a big building on Condor Street, and there was about 10 of us on that floor. And out of the 10, at least 8 were heroin addicts. Right? There were couples or singles, whatever. But we had a very bohemian lifestyle there. Everybody shared. You know, if you need $1, $10. You know, if you need sugar, coffee, cigarettes. Almost like what they go through in jail, there's trading and stuff like that. There's some sort of market that evolves from bohemian lifestyle. But it was enjoyable for a while. This couple came along, and they were hanging out at the building, and we were smart enough to make sure the landlord had the doors locked all the time. It's a big building. It had friggin' sub-basement, 2 basements. It was unbelievable, and they were huge. Almost like a military complex. We called it the Army base. But there was like 10 of us on the floor, all right? And this couple was roaming around. A couple of people took them in for a day or 2, got sick of them. And then they ended up at my door. It was a Thanksgiving. He said, you know, to myself, this is not a good idea. I didn't like them. We told the landlord not to rent to them because they were very low life, real shitbags. Now, I knew they were addicts because they were hanging around with different people and scoring. You know what's going on. So eventually they showed up at my door on Thanksgiving, and I was alone. And it wasn't like I was lonely or something, but, you know, I felt bad for them in a way, even though they were scum. They're carrying around green garbage bags with their belongings to them. They were homeless. So I said, okay, come in, you know, for a night. So we hang out, you know, and he goes out and he gets some fentanyl, and we do it. And the next day comes, and I start telling them, look, you're going to have to look for a place. You know, you can't stay here today, another day. Oh, why not? I'll give you some more fentanyl. I was like, no. I don't need it. I need you to leave because I know what it's like when somebody's in your apartment getting them out. Now, I had 2,000 square feet. There was plenty of room, but there was no way, you know, I wanted these people in my house. I like to live alone. So, you know, when the next day came, I kept saying to them throughout the day, you better make some calls. You better do something. And they weren't making calls. And I noticed this, you know. So by 5 o'clock, I had to put the heat on. I said, look, you know, my mother, my father, my sister, uncle, grandpa, everybody is coming to visit me, and you can't be here. I'll get into trouble. Whatever I had to tell them, I told them. They weren't moving, so at 6 o'clock, I took the guy's arm. I said, come on, you gotta go. I went to pull his arm, and he says some sort of shit like, I got a pin in my arm, oh, it hurts. So I said, okay, let go. Then I grabbed his other arm. I pulled him up off the couch, and his girlfriend followed. And, you know, one of the reasons I didn't like this asshole is because he was abusing his girlfriend. He was always saying shit to her, putting her down. Look at this, John. She's such an asshole. What an idiot. She can't shoot me up in my neck. This is one of these idiots that's run out of veins, so they start shooting up in their legs or their necks or whatever. Hardcore. So, you know, he was abusing his girlfriend all the time, so I really didn't like him from the get-go. So one day it was plenty for me. So when I pulled him up, we start going towards the door, I'm literally behind him, pushing him, saying, come on. And he's like, come on, man, come on. I'm like, come on. And she's following. Well, as we're going by, there's a rack of dishes. And out of that rack, he grabs a skillet. Now, most of you guys know the difference between a frying pan and a skillet. A skillet is solid iron, all right? It's 5 times the weight of a regular frying pan. Well, he grabs the skillet and turns, and I can see it coming, so I put my head down so he couldn't hit me in the face, and he hit me in the head, in the skull, 3 times in a matter of 3 seconds. I grabbed, which split my skull open. I grabbed his arm, twisted the pan out of his hand, and now we're fighting hand to hand. And I can't say anything about his injuries because, if you think I look bad in the picture, believe me, he didn't win, and it definitely wasn't worth it to him. So I can't really say anything about what he fell on a knife, I think, and it nicked his liver, or I don't know. There was blood everywhere. I never seen so much blood because both of us were bleeding profusely. He says to his girlfriend, "Fucking hit him," while we're tied up in a knot fighting, and both of us are covered in blood like a friggin' Halloween costume. He says, "Hit him, hit him." She's like, "No, I don't want to hit him. He's been good to us." Right? She's got a conscience. But on the other hand, he's been abusing her for God knows how long, and she's an addict, so she, is codependent on him. So he goes, "Fucking hit him, or I'll fucking kill you." So she picks up a frying pan and nails me, knocks out my teeth. Now, I swallowed these silver implants I had before. I'm like on my 3rd set, I think. I swallowed them and a bunch of other teeth. I think I had 13 teeth knocked out, which I swallowed all of them. I had a broken nose. Both my eye sockets got cracked. One did some nerve damage in one of my eyes. I don't know which one. I think it's this one. Crushed my sinus cavity on one side. I mean, a lot of damage. All right, you can see by the picture. Pulled all my hair out. He was pulling my hair out. And the ambulance shows up, and, before the ambulance shows up, the fight gets to a point where we're wrestling around. We fall down. He's on top of me. Now, I know this guy is fighting convict style because he comes down with his mouth, and I see his teeth, his open mouth, ready trying to bite my nose off. So I turn my big nose sideways, and he bites into my ear. And he bites right through my ear and tears it. So I got a blood clot in it or something, whatever that means. So we ended up wrestling around, and he fell on something, and something happened to his neck. I don't know. And we get to a point where he's holding a 60-pound dumbbell over my head, which would have killed me instantly. I mean, he's holding the 60 pounds, ready to drop it on my skull or my face. And the girl's holding my legs, and he's kneeling on my arms, so I can't really make too many moves. So I screamed for Tick, because he lived in the next loft, and the walls are paper thin. He already said he heard all the wrestling and fighting going on, but as I called him, he must have been at his door, because he was in my apartment in a matter of like 10 seconds with a big baseball bat, a steel one, aluminum, whatever they are. And, I know he wasn't trying to hit the guy, but he swung the bat really hard, and it missed him. So they knew it was serious. They get their shit and they leave. The ambulance shows up. "How are you even walking?" I don't know. It was my adrenaline. Friends from the loft ran down when the police were there and said they got on that bus. Well, the police went and took them off the bus, talked to them for a while, and let them go. I goes, "What the fuck is this?" Anyways, I was in the hospital. I couldn't deal with that at the time, And even in the hospital, this is why I hate the medical system, man. Western medicine is such a fucking fraud. I'm in the Boston City Hospital, all right? They're giving me, I got 22 staples in my head. One more, to-douche. He had split my skull open where you could actually see my brain. I had to be checked for brain damage. After the 22 staples and the stitches they put in and did what they did, they put me in a room, which they didn't give me my daytime medicine, which is Klonopin. They never gave me. Whatever else I was supposed to be taking. They never gave me anything. 3 days. At the third day, and nobody had visited me. I don't know why. Maybe they didn't know where I was. But on the third day, I said, fuck this. I'm leaving. I mean, I still had blood in my hair. They didn't even wash me up. You know how that feels to be in a fucking hospital? And the nurses would rather wipe someone's ass than come wash your fucking hair or fucking clean you up or whatever. So I said, fuck this. You know, I can do this at home. Plus, you can't smoke cigarettes. I can't. I hate being tied down like that. So I leave. Of course, that's the day everybody went up there with cigarettes and everything else for me. I went right to the East Boston police station. There was a woman cop there, and I went to the window and I said, I'd like to report on an assault and battery. And she goes, well, it looks like you did something really wrong. Really? He said, well, and some other cop, they're behind this big plastic shield and bars and everything, so they're very secure. Oh, yeah, what did you do to deserve that? So I said, okay. I'll just go to the state police and let them know that East Boston does not want to take my assault charge. They will not document it. This detective walks over and he goes, John, come on, man. Don't be a prick. And, there's certain words and certain ways of being treated that just trigger. I mean, maybe that's when my post-traumatic stress, or maybe I've had it all my life. I don't know. But he says, don't be a prick. I goes, what the fuck are you talking about? He goes, well, I goes, you got a report? Do we this? I'll help you. Don't worry about it. So he was supposedly going to do the case. You want to take out a restraining order? I goes, I can't. He goes, why not? I goes, I don't know what his name is. Look it up on Facebook. I don't know what his name is. Do you know what his name is? Mike. Yeah, you can't find out his last name? No, I don't know these people. They're junkies. They're street people. They don't have any Facebook page. I think I did find them. But it didn't matter. I don't give a fuck about that shit. So, I have a friend cop that's a constable. He delivers warrants and whatever, those kind of things. So he tells me, he goes, the guy Mike has been arrested 2 more times. He goes, really? So they didn't arrest him on my thing yet? He goes, nope. Well, the third time he got arrested for driving around in a car, shooting up with his friends in Brookline, and he got arrested. And somehow, that's when they eventually arrested him for my charge. Because it was another town. See, it wasn't East Boston, it was Brookline. And Brookline cops are like Nazis, man. Yeah, they suck. More than 2 people in a car, you're getting pulled over. Anyways, what happens? We go back to, I go back home, and I'm waiting for shit to happen, and time goes by, and they go down to the police station, and I say, nobody ever took any kind of notes or anything on my, what happened. Just they took some brief notes when it did happen. She goes, well, this is another new woman cop. She goes, well, what do you want from us? They goes, well, I want to report the things that were stolen. She goes, well, I'll take a list, but the chances that... I goes, yeah, I know. What was stolen? A Mossberg shotgun. She, oh, my God, a P98 pistol. Oh, God. So I named all these weapons, right? And all of a sudden, she's like, why didn't you do this? I goes, this isn't a question you should be asking me. You should be asking the police officers doing the investigation on the attempted murder of my life. Well, come to find out, they were confidential informants. See, they'd been arrested for heroin somewhere, and they both agreed to the police, whatever one they were working for, they would get into this building. See, this building had cameras, it had locked doors, nobody could get in to look around. Let's see what's going on. And the police didn't like that, so they sent some undercover, confidential fucking informants in, which failed. They never got arrested for heroin or anything else. So, The worst part of it hasn't even come yet. This is why I hate the whole fucking system. You want to know why I hate the medical system? Because of what I went through, all right? And that's not the first time either. I'm going to see a post-traumatic stress doctor every 2 weeks for like a year. And she turned out to be a very, very nice woman. Kind of hippie-ish, but, with the long dresses on, but she was nice. And we had fun and, talking about things, but she was, trying to help me with this post-traumatic stress. I mean, they diagnosed it. I didn't think there was anything wrong with me, but they said, you definitely have it. I don't know whether they came out with any kind of meter. They never asked me any questions, but I was guaranteed that I had it, and I do. But they were right. First time, the medical system gets it right. So what happens is I'm talking bi-monthly with this post-traumatic stress doctor, and she finds out that I'm at home, and she finds out that the trial is going on. Now, I've been to a few trials where they just call the girl's name up. I went to court twice for her, and, it was continued. It was getting to be a pain in the ass. They said, you don't have to be there. Yeah. When they tell you that, and you're the victim, or you're the subject of bringing the case, I hate the word victim, if you want to bring that case up, you better be there. Don't, when they tell you don't have to go, go. Because I went to every one of them, and guess which one they didn't tell me to come to? The trial for him. I just wanted to see this cocksucker. I just wanted to get my eyes on him. He's my kill. Nobody else's, And I can't even look at this guy. So they don't tell me that there's a trial, which is by law. I guess this is my civil rights. That don't mean nothing these days. She calls me up and says, do you know that the trial is going on right now for him? I goes, no. Nobody called me. Nobody told me. So we do a three-way conversation, all right, between the post-traumatic stress doctor, the fucking district attorney of East Boston, and me. And she's saying, why didn't you contact him? We did. We tried calling him. She goes, I'm talking to him now. He's on the phone. And I'm like, hi, how you doing there, Miss District Attorney? Why wasn't I notified that there was a trial going on? Well, they didn't notify because they're confidential informants, and they don't want me to know that. But I already know that. So they was, we couldn't get in touch with them. No call, no registered letters, nothing. They didn't want me to go. So the trial goes on without me, and my post-traumatic stress doctor says to the district attorney, she goes, he was supposed to be there, and you know better than this. I mean, they were talking in code, but I've been around the legal system and everything else, and I pretty much know what they were talking about. And she says, well, he wasn't cooperating with the police, when they wanted to take out a restraining order. And my doctor just kept saying, you know better than that. He should have been at that trial. All right? Now, I guess the guy had been in jail for a year and a half. Same thing with the girl. But I never got to go to his trials. But what happened is, to give your impact statements, I think that's what it's called. Yeah. That don't matter when it comes to somebody like me. Okay? When you're different, they think they can wipe their ass with you. They found out they can't. All right, I contacted the district attorney of Massachusetts, and they're like, well, you didn't cooperate with the police. I said, what are you talking about? You didn't want to take a restraining order. I goes, I didn't know the person's name. She goes, oh, that's not on the report. So the whole corruption in this whole fucking legal system makes me vomit. But you know what? It doesn't fucking, it doesn't surprise me. So the girl thing comes up again, right? Now, she's been in jail for 2 years. So, the district attorney, or the prosecutor, I think, this is the prosecutor, it wasn't the DA, comes over and says, yeah, we want to keep her. I said, really? Yeah, I goes, why do you want to keep her? Well, we can't really talk to you about it or go into it. And I said, all right. Whatever. So I went over to the, I made eye contact with her. She couldn't look at me. And I have no, I don't care about her. I don't hold a grudge like that. It's not that. sick that I have to hate someone, you know, that was abused to begin with by her fucking boyfriend. So I said to her public defender, I goes, yeah, I don't want to hold her, let her go. And he's like, what, really? I goes, oh yeah, she's learned a lesson. 2 years is enough for me for her. She should be like, oh man, you should have seen the prosecutor. He comes over and he's like, what are you doing? You're gonna... I goes, look, you don't want to tell me about the trial that I can't give an impact statement on. I can't make eye contact with a guy that tried to murder me, and I can't be invited to my own trial. That's my trial, and his. Not the district attorney's, not East Boston's, mine. All right, and they purposely did not have me go there. But when I went to the girls' one, I said, let her go, and they had a fucking shit bit. Why? We want to hold her. I goes, well, you can't tell me why you want to hold her, all right? And the thing is, I goes, I forgive her. She doesn't, I don't even remember what she looks like, nothing. I don't care. Let her go. And they didn't want to let her go, but they wouldn't want to tell me why. But when it came up, nice, huh? Just in time. So, what happens is, they let her go, you know. The prosecutor just, they were pissed at me, and I was like, you know, yeah, good for you. You think I fucking care? So, basically now you know what happened, that when somebody attacks you, I mean, even if you're a good fighter, even if you have weapons, no matter what, you never know what's coming, you know? And I'll tell you, he didn't win, and it definitely wasn't worth it to him. Now, I look pretty bad in the pictures, but you know what? It doesn't matter. I mean, that's what you're going to go through in life anyways, you know? And if you spend all your time thinking about that shit, you'll be a mess. Now, I have to deal with post-traumatic stress because of this incident, which I wasn't really familiar with. And I wouldn't say I had a temper. I was kind of a mellow guy, you know? And after this happened, I'll tell you, what happens with post-traumatic stress is, you know, just the slightest thing can set you off where your anger just gets out of control. I mean, you say stuff that you really don't want to say, or, you know, I mean, I got a grip on it to an extent, but I can't guarantee it in any kind of scuffle or argument. I mean, it's something that you're cursed with, and that's exactly what it is, a fucking curse. And, you know, I got to live with it, but I am, and I moved on. I don't hate the guy, but hopefully I'll never see him again for his sake, you know? I mean, he's one of those guys. You know, he's gonna get away with it until it comes to something. I don't say what comes around goes around, because that ain't fucking true. And I don't wait for revenge. You just go through life taking one thing at a time. And there's very little things you can do other than get angry, or you want revenge. All that shit don't matter. Don't bring you no satisfaction at all. You gotta move on. No matter what injuries. And I had a lot of fucking injuries, man. It took me 2 years to recuperate from that. You know? And you know, how do they know if you got brain damage or not? Post-traumatic stress is brain damage. Give me a break. All right, I don't want to talk too long, but you guys wanted to hear that first. I don't know what the next one will be. We just have to wait and see, okay? Hey, it was good talking to you.